You're listening to Big World Network.
Phineas Frakture and the Dolomite, Episode 5. Written by Joseph Gatch. Read by Michael Young. The corridor opened up into a voluminous cavern. A rock-carved stairway led downwards, disappearing into a layer of mist which was illuminated with what had to be electric lamps, flickering from lack of care. The thrum of generators somewhere deep within echoed throughout the cavern. Phineas raised his arm and pulled back his sleeve. The hairs on his forearm stood up, and gently swayed in a breeze wafting up from below. This place is charged. Let's hope there's nothing flammable lying about down here. Screams carried up along the walls. The latest victims of the Dolomite were here, that was for sure. Phineas motioned with his hand towards the stairs. Ladies first? Abigail scoffed and thumped him on the chest. You're such a gentleman. Come on, Mr. Chicken. As they descended the stairs, Abigail looked around, puzzled. What is it? Asked Phineas. Have you noticed that we have not once seen one of those things down here? Where are their guards? Don't they worry about being attacked? Are you serious? Asked Phineas. Are you aware of what these things can do? Bullets do not stop them. Many bullets do not stop them. They are juggernauts. No fear, no mercy. They cannot be stopped. Why would something that can't be stopped need guards? Have you tried cannons? That might stop them. The Dolomite are gone before any cannon can arrive. And would you try hauling a cannon through the sewers? I wouldn't. Possibly a Tesla rifle could stop them. If you can't shoot it, you might be able to shock it. Do you have a Tesla rifle? Abigail frowned at him. Well, no, but it is an idea. Which does us no good at the moment. I'm just trying to be helpful. No need to be condescending. I'm not being condescending, I'm being practical. There's no sense in speculating on how to stop them if we do not have the means at our disposal. We must think this through, using what means we have. Which is absolutely nothing, replied Abigail. We have a pistol and a rifle, neither of which will have any effect on the beasts, as you've stated before. I never said that. Yes, you did. No, I didn't. Flustered, Abigail turned and stood right in front of Phineas, and pointed her finger at his nose. You said bullets have no effect on them. That I said. Phineas took a finger and wheeled her around until he was standing in her place. If you had taken the time to examine the pistol I gave you, you would have noticed that it is not your standard revolver. He continued walking down the stairs. What you do have in your possession is a weapon of my own design. I call it a discombobulator. It sends waves of sound which will strike the Dolomite's helmets, and turn them into resonance chambers until they either vomit or are rendered unconscious. Did you really think I would have brought primitive weapons that I knew would have been ineffective against them? Perish the thought. Abigail glanced back as he descended. Pompous, she muttered. Do we really want to see a vomiting Dolomite? She called after him. By the time they reached the bottom of the stairway, they were navigating around piles of rubble. It looks like there was a cave-in at one point, said Phineas. As they proceeded further, it became obvious that was the case. If memory serves, the city suffered an earthquake about 15 years ago, about the same time that the Dolomite stopped their activities. It would make sense that the two events were related. Wonder how I missed that. That would mean that they've been digging themselves out for the past 15 years. How could they be down here all that time and survive? Do they eat? Drink? And what did they use to dig their way out? Phineas examined the walls. Thousands, even millions of scratches lined the rock. From the looks of it, I would say those hooks they used to grab their prey. Like I said, they are tenacious. And now they're out again, shuddered Abigail. Yes, was all Phineas said, thoughtfully. And, as it was, they were the only two willing to do anything about it at the moment. Cautiously they entered the lair of the Dolomite. Phineas let out a soft whistle of amazement. Through the mist that swirled lazily throughout the cavern, a bluish-gray glow emanated from row upon row of glass canisters twice the size of a man. Tubes, copper wires, and pneumatic pumps were connected to the containers, and occasionally air bubbles rose from the bottom. The first several rows they passed were empty, and some were damaged from rocks that had fallen from the cavern ceiling. After that, they were full. All of them. Phineas looked closely at the contents in one of the canisters. Through the murky fluid, a humanoid form floated in suspended animation. Grotesque in form, its muscles twisted and bulged, making its body look as if though it were made of coiled wire. The face, human, but not, was contorted into a bestial howl, frozen in time. This one appeared to be dead. Moving on to the next one, he noticed that it was less developed than the previous one. It still bore some passing resemblance to a man. However, it was already advanced in what he could only describe as a metamorphosis. Phineas peered close to the glass and then quickly jumped back as the creature inside writhed around before going still once again. He realized that he hadn't uttered a breath and exhaled as the adrenaline sharpened his mind. Abigail, apparently, suffered the same fate as he. She stood next to him and stared wide-eyed at the creature within. Grasping Phineas's hand, she looked down the rows of canisters and noticed that the contents in each one moved every so often. "Phineas," she whispered, "what are they doing down here?" The professor followed her gaze and drew a most horrifying conclusion. "They're building an army."
You're listening to BigWorldNetwork.